Hello students, welcome to COM 308 for interpersonal communication. We are looking this week at emotions, trust, and deception. As we move forward through our agenda, it's important to know that we are looking at chapters 8 and 9 this week. In addition to that, we have a number of videos we are watching that helps explain some ideas about emotions, trust, and deception, and looking about how that works in many different situations and applicability to many different communication contexts within interpersonal communication. We're completing this week interpersonal observation report number 3. So this is our third observational report we'll be doing, so keep that in mind. You have a discussion board number 5 due on Friday with replies due on Sunday, as well as the topic for your critical assignment is due this week. As we move through a lot of the assignments this week, keep in mind that there's lots of different things, but we are focusing on collectively 3 unique things that pertain to interpersonal communication within the course. So in your critical assignment, you will be asked to write a paper and create a presentation on doing a film analysis of some kind of interpersonal communication interaction. In Blackboard, there's a PDF attached to this that you click, and it will show you a list of any film that you can choose on that list. It also has, I've also gone through the liberty within that to identify what interpersonal behavioral situations are within each of those films. So please pick one off that list. It'll be the easiest way to get this through this assignment. Otherwise, if you pick something that's not on that list, you have to identify the particular interpersonal behavior interaction you're observing in the film and send that to me for approval. So the process is a little more convoluted if you go that route. In your critical assignment topic due this week, you are simply stating the film you selected and why, and explaining what aspects of interpersonal communication you plan to evaluate while watching the film. This can change by the time that you actually submit the paper and watch the film, but it's serving as a brainstorming function at this point. Also, each of the films are classified according to interpersonal behaviors in the PDF, so that does work pretty easily for you. I've attached a visual image of the prompts that you can choose to go with when you are writing the paper itself. So you'll pick either prompt 1 or prompt 2 when you get to the writing stage. You do not necessarily have to do that at this point, but it is good for you to look at these aspects early on so you know where you're going with and what the end result is of your particular assignment. As you look through the communication assignments themselves, here are the requirements for the paper and for the presentation. The paper, once you've watched the video and reviewed the movie, you will analyze the interpersonal relationships found and write and develop a 4 to 5 page full APA formatted paper going through prompt 1 or prompt 2 that you see here. So you'll address everything in either prompt 1 or prompt 2. You'll choose one or the other. You'll write your 4 to 5 page paper based off of that. Then what you'll do is you'll create a presentation. You'll either use YouTube or Screencast-O-Matic or some type of video format to create a presentation of your film analysis, and that's what you'll share with the class. That really addresses our communicative aspects within the course, since we're a communication course, and public speaking and things of that nature is something that we have to assess throughout the course. So the presentation is designed to do after. It's just a 3 to 5 minute YouTube or screencast of your particular analysis of the film. You'll share that with the students and reply to discussion boards at the end of the semester. We're not really worrying about anything like that yet. What we're doing this week is just identifying our film and what interpersonal communicative aspect we want to observe in the film. The next thing we're going to look at in discussion board number 5 is you're going to pick one decade, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whichever one you want. One where TV was prevalent and we can actually look at and locate 2 episodes of the sitcom. And so you're going to watch at least 2 episodes of a sitcom that aired either in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, whatever it may be. And what you're going to do is summarize the types of relationships presented, how emotions were presented in each episode, and then consider how emotional the characters become and how open they are with their feelings and expression of their emotional intelligences. So you're going to answer questions 1 through 4. Share your findings, tell us what you found, look at how portrayal of emotions by media models can maybe change over time or not. The whole thing is going to be 300 words and posted by Friday. And then you're going to reply to at least 2 students by Sunday. So pick a decade and 2 episodes within any given sitcom during that time, and really look at how emotions and feelings and things like that are expressed through television sitcoms. In our interpersonal observation report number 2, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It was 2, not 3. We're on number 2. You're going to, again, observe interpersonal interactions in any setting you want, but it has to be different than the first one. So in this one, you're going to observe whatever it is, write up your report of what you found with your journal and things of that nature. Remember, your report's 350 words and includes your observations, your comparisons from the text, studied the communication behaviors and such to clearly show what you observed about this interpersonal interaction. So do take care of that early on this week and make sure that you spend some time doing that. If you have any questions with that, do let me know. Some things I want to highlight from the reading is attribution theory. Attribution theory is situated within Chapter 8. It tells us and really describes how we infer and explain the causes of social behavior. Really, it's how we determine what we believe a specific behavior is due to a personality or a situation, and we evaluate how the person finds himself affects our evaluation of that person. So what I'm saying is that behaviors we observe in any situation, we infer it and explain it either based off of the personality or the situation the person finds himself in. That really affects your evaluation of that person. So you attribute your attributes that you assign to people are assigned based off of your evaluation of how someone handles a situation. What we've determined is that to be reasons for one's behaviors really is influenced from our perception of and feeling towards the person. So how we perceive or how we apply certain attributes to a person is largely based off of the influences, the perception, and the feelings and prior knowledge and existing relationships we have with that person. And that's really, really important to keep in mind. Since we'll be working with mass media this week, it's really important to look at media models and what I want, and particularly media and emotion. So we want to look at that media really models images we see depicted on TV and advertising, movies, and really anything we consume. And today with social media, that's a lot. Things we see on Instagram can portray what we feel mothers should be and things of that nature. Heavy users of media tend to have opinions about emotions that reflect the fictional world of television. So what they see in the media, in the area of media that they largely portray, tends to be portrayed in a way, or what they feel about emotions based off of what they've consumed in that particular media. So if we look at social learning theory tells us we learn from observation. If all we do is watch television, our observations and opinions about emotions are going to be based off of that particular television show. So what we can find is that what we see and what influences we have and what we believe and how we evaluate those experiences are based off of how heavy we use a particular media outlet. So that's really important. As we move further, we are going to look at cost-benefit theory. This is really done as a social exchange theory that is heavily utilized within trust and building and deception and things of that nature. And really what it is we look at interpersonal interactions and relationship as a cost-benefit exchange. And so we look at our perceived relationships reward minus the cost to maintain the relationship equals the perceived relationships benefits. So sometimes we have relationships with people based off of the perceived rewards, even though the real costs of having that relationship is greater than what our reward is, because we feel that that perceived benefit equals out to something positive. And this was developed in the 70s and 80s by Emerson and Cook. And what they really found is that the central premise really centers around the idea that social and material resources is fundamental in human interaction. And what we focus on really is looking at the benefit of having a relationship, and do the costs of that relationship outweigh the benefit. If the costs end up outweighing the benefit, then we tend to negate the situation or not hold the particular relationship very high and what have you in that particular area. Moving forward to week 5, it's really important to keep in mind again that we're reading chapters 8 and 9. We're watching the videos on emotional intelligences, leadership, trust, and things of that nature. We're doing interpersonal observation report number 2, and we're working on discussion board number 5 as well as our critical assignment topic. If you have any particular questions, please contact me early in the week, particularly related to your critical assignment. I definitely want to field a lot of those questions as early as I can when it comes to the topic if you're confused. But my first response is going to be to download the PDF that has the list of films and the interpersonal behaviors related to those films. But if you have any questions, let me know, and I look forward to interacting with you soon. Have a blessed week.